Hello and welcome to CSEC Math Tutor YouTube and CSECMathTutor.com. In this video, we are looking at the May-June 2022 CSEC Mathematics Paper 2 solutions, and we're going to be focused on questions 1 and 2 in this video. Starting off, question 1, we have using a calculator or otherwise, find the exact value of this fraction here. So the paper starts out with a fraction, and notice that we have 7 over 8 plus 1 over 6 divided by 2 over 9. So we have two operations, and as we know, when we are working out questions with multiple operations, we follow the rule of BOMDAS. Some people have it as that, or PEMDAS, which simply means brackets, exponents, multiply, divide, add, subtract. So we do them in that order. So notice that because we have a plus and division, we're going to do the division part first. So here we have 7 over 8 plus 1 over 6 divided by 2 over 9. Now, when we're dividing fractions, we follow a very, very simple rule that we call KCF, which is really keep, change, and flip. So we keep this one, we change the division to multiplication, and we flip the divisor. So here we go, 7 over 8 plus 1 over 6 times 2 times 9 over 2. We're going to flip that one. Now here we can divide 6 and 9 by 3. So we can go ahead and do that. So 3 into 6 will go 2 times, and 9 divided by 3 gives us 3 times. So what we really have now is 7 over 8 plus, coming out of the bracket, 3 over 4. Now, they do not have the same denominator here, but we can easily rename this fraction by multiplying both numerator and denominator by 2. So we end up with 6 over 8. And now all that we need to do is to add 7 over 8 plus 6 over 8. Of course, you could go ahead and use a multiplication LCM or another method, but in this case, it's just an easy matter to rename this fraction and then add them. So 7 plus 6 here gives us 13 over 8, and we have our answer. Of course, you could write your answer here. This is an improper fraction. We could write it as a mixed number, as 1 and 5 over 8. Now remember that it says using a calculator or otherwise. This is the otherwise. In using a calculator, though, make sure that when you type in this expression on your calculator, that you don't just go from here to here, because that's what the calculator will do. Once you type it in, it will give you the answer straight. You want to show some process as to how you get to the answer. So while you use your calculator, show a bit of the process in between, and not just go from beginning from the question straight to the answer, even though the question says using a calculator. Okay. Next, we have two decimal operations here. We have 0.8 we have 8 rather divided by 0.4 to the third. And the same idea using the calculator or otherwise. Don't just type it in and press equal. Show a bit of the process. So we have 0.4 to the third, which actually means you don't have to write it out, but it means 0.4 times 0.4 times 0.4. Of course, you would use your power button for that. And 8 over 0.4 to the third gives us 0.064. And of course, punching that into your calculator gives 125. So you could go straight from here to here and then get your 125. This shows a little bit of process in between, and our answer at the end. Here, the next part of the question says, find the value of the root of 26.8 minus 2.5 raised to the 3 over 2. So you're going to use your power button again here. The power button is that button that is often written as that, or x to the y on some calculators. It's the other way around, y to the x. something of the sort. Or on the modern calculators, you will have something like that, but you will notice your power button there. So we find the root of 26.8, and the root of 26.8 here is 5.177 minus 2.5 raised to the 1.5, or 3 over 2, gives us 3.953. And then what we need to do is just subtract these two, and subtracting here and writing our answer. 3 from 7 leaves 4, 5 from 7 leaves 2, and subtracting there, 9 from 11 leaves 2, and then 3 from 4 leaves 1. So we have 1.224. We need to write our answer to 2 decimal places, so that turns out to be 1.22. And that's our answer. Moving on to the other part of the question. Here, children go to a rodeo camp in the Easter holiday, and their caretaker, Miss Rekha, is going to be buying bananas and oranges for the children. So she buys 25 kilograms of bananas at a cost of $3.85 per kilogram. So we are supposed to find out how much does she spend on bananas, and she's given a 12% discount. So let's go ahead first and multiply $3.85 times that 25. Punching that into your calculator gives $96.25. And we are supposed to find this discount and subtract it from that. Many ways to do this. One way is to simply multiply 96.25 times 12% as a decimal, which is 0.12. Or you may write it as 12 over 100 times 96.25. Either way, when you're done calculating, what you will get is 11.55. That is $11.55. And now we need to do the subtraction because it's a discount, so we need to take it from that. So 96.25 minus 11.55, and that gives us $84.70. Second part of the question here says that $165.31, inclusive of a sales tax of 15%, was spent on oranges, and we have to calculate the original price of the oranges. Original price here meaning that we want the cost price. Now, something that you should know and remember is that the cost price is always 100%. Now, your sale price can be 100% plus a profit margin or a tax, or 100% minus a discount. So in this case, the selling price, which includes the cost price plus this sales tax of 15%, ends up being 115%. So in setting up our solution, we want to find what is the 100% that is the original price. So we can write it as 100 over 115 times $165.31. And of course, you could easily punch that into your calculator, and it will give you $143.75. There's an alternate way to do this, which is to say, okay, $165.31 represents 115%. And then your aim now is to find 1%. 1% would be equal to, that is 165.31 divided by 115. And then you multiply your answer, whatever answer you get here, and it's going to lead you back to this result here, $143.75. So this is equal to 115%. Find 1%, and having found 1% using your calculator, you go ahead and multiply by 100 to find out what the 100% is, which is the cost price, which is the original price, as the question calls it. Moving on, we are told that the ratio of the number of bananas to the number of oranges is 2 to 3. And furthermore, there are 24 more oranges than bananas. So we have to calculate the number of bananas that were bought. So let's write on the ratio here. The ratio of bananas to oranges. So bananas to oranges is 2 to 3. And we know that 2 here plus 3 gives us 5. So this we can say that everything can be shared up in 5 parts. And of that 5 parts, we need to deal with this more oranges here. So the bananas is 2 parts of the ratio. The oranges is 3 parts of the ratio, and that 3 parts can be written as 2 plus 1. Now, the extra oranges, the surplus oranges, that's 24 oranges, would account for this 1 part here. And so what we know then is that 1 part of the ratio is equal to 24. And since we know that 1 part of the ratio is 24, and bananas takes up 2 parts out of the 5, then we can simply go ahead and multiply by 2. 2 fours are 8, and 2 twos are 4. So there would be 48 bananas. 48 bananas were bought. Now, the question had previously told us the weight of the bananas, but it didn't tell us the number. So BANANAS. So 48 bananas were bought. Moving on. Here we have question 2, and question 2 is algebra. So we want to find out now, we want to factorize this expression. And in factorizing this, we use the AC method, which is to split this middle term into 2 pieces by multiplying 5, the A and the C. So we multiply 5 times 4 from the quadratic expression ax squared plus bx plus c. So we multiply A and C. 5 fours are 20. There are other factors of 20, such as 10 times 2 and 20 times 1. Now, the combination that can give 9, this is the only one that can give 9, and we can get a negative 9 by writing both of these numbers as negative 5 and negative 4. So let's rewrite that. So 5x squared minus 5x minus 4x. Doesn't really matter which one you write first, but it just makes sense right here to put it in that order. Now we're going to factorize this by grouping. So we group these two. Group those two, then take out a 5x here, which is the common factor, and that leaves us with x minus 1. Take out a minus 4 there, and that leaves us with x minus 1. And so factorizing this, we end up with 5x minus 4 and x minus 1 as our result. Now it says, hence solve the following equation, which means that we're going to take this solution here and use it here. So 5x minus 4 into x minus 1 gives us 0. And since we're multiplying and getting 0, then it means we can equate both of these to 0. So 5x minus 4 equals 0, and x minus 1 equals 0. And what we have are 2 linear equations, which we can easily solve. And 5x there is equal to 4. Therefore, x is equal to 4 over 5. And in this case here, x is equal to 0 plus 1. So x is equal to 1. And these are the 2 solutions. It's quadratic, so it has 2. In this case, 2 different solutions. X equal 4 over 5 and x equal 1. The next part of the question, B, says we should make v the subject of this expression. So w is equal to 5 plus v over v minus 3. And we want to make v the subject. That is, we want it to say v equal something. So the first thing we can do here is that we can multiply to get rid of the denominator here. We can multiply both sides by v minus 3. So let's do that. So v minus 3 here and v minus 3 here. And the first thing that what will happen is that this will cancel this out. So we have w here into v minus 3 is equal to 5. Let's just get rid of that. Is equal to 5 plus v. Now we need to expand this bracket using the distributive law here. So this is wv and this is minus 3w is equal to 5 plus v. So notice now that we have v's on both sides. And we want to get both v's on the same side and everything else on the other side. So we are going to regroup it, starting with wv. This is a plus v, so we subtract it here. And equal, let's leave our 5 there, and this is a minus 3w, so we add it on that side. Now, since we want our v, we need to factor out the v from here. So we're going to factor out the v, and that would leave us with w minus 1. And we're almost finished, because all that we need to do now is divide both sides by the bracket here, w minus 1. And so to write our answer is equal to v is equal to 3w plus 5 over w minus 1. That's our result. Next question is part C. The height of an object is directly proportional to the square root of its parameter. And we're supposed to write an equation to show the relationship between h and p. Now, if it's proportional, it means that it has a multiplier in there, some constant. So the height is equal to some constant k multiplied by the square root of the parameter. And so p. And so this is the general equation. We're going to find a more specific equation later on. So this is the general equation here. And we are told that given that h is 5.4 when p is 1.44, we are to determine the value of h when p is equal to 2.89. That's here. So we're going to use this pair of values, plug them into this, and get a more specific form of this equation. So h is equal to 5.4. So we have 5.4 here. Let me just write it over this side instead. 5.4. Let's erase that. 5.4 is equal to the constant k, which we don't know yet, times the root of 1.44. And so 5.4 is equal to k times the square root of 1.44 is 1.2. And now we can find k by saying 5.4 divided by 1.2. And that gives us 4.5. So we can write a more specific form of this equation. And that more specific form, substituting the value of k, this is k. H is equal to 4.5 multiplied by the root of p. Having found this specific form of the equation, we can now use it to find the value of h when p is equal to 2.89. So h is equal to 4.5 times the root of p, and we know that p is 2.89. So h is equal to 4.5 times the root of 2.89, and that gives us the root of 2.89 is 1.7. So we have 4.5 times 1.7, and that multiplied out gives us 7.65. And that is our answer. And I think that brings us to the end of question 2. So thank you so much for watching. If you found the video useful, please subscribe as a show of your support. And of course, best wishes as you continue to study